Good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch, and welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. Drink it if you got it. While we wait for some people to show up. I think Kilty's still going strong over there. Nope. They really bailed out of that in a big hurry at the very end. Okay. Wednesday morning hump day. The time just flies, doesn't it? Wow. Anyway, I'm out of breath. I'm out of breath. I watched Max on Kilsy's this morning, and wow, to be 40 years old again. Poor Kelsey. Dropped the F-bomb once or twice. I gotta hand it to him. No matter what he disagrees with vehemently, he still remains complimentary and calm. That's a superpower. And I wish I had it. But wow. I was trying to follow what Max was saying, and I was trying to, like I always do, take the concept of actionable information, which is something we forget. We can all sit and just spew facts and talk about biology and macros and this and that and the other thing. And it may all be correct in it, but you come away from these things, and I try hard not to, at least in the videos and live streams I make, to try to equate all that information or generate something that is actionable. You have to pivot from the why to the how at some point. Or else, who cares why? If you can't use that, and, well, how am I supposed to do it then? And I think that's what most of us are looking for when we come to YouTube. We're not looking for the why, even though I love to dwell in that space. People are coming for the how. I know now, if I make a video like I did yesterday, which even I was impressed with, talking about the minor physical differences in all of us, and they are minor, but they are the function of our ancestors' adaptation. And I was trying to explain to people why it is some people do well on this diet, some people don't. Some people need a few more carbs Some people can't have any carbs. Some people, we're all adaptively different. And I knew nobody would care about that. Nobody would care. There wasn't a lot of how to in that video. But it was something I wanted to put out there. Just like some scientists might want to write a book about his thoughts on quantum physics. There's not much you can do in that kind of thing that's actionable. And most people come to YouTube for entertainment and how to. When I put siding up on my house, I went to YouTube. How do I put up concrete board siding? And there was no shortage of videos. You want to install a Starlink antenna on your roof? Go to YouTube. You want to lose weight? Go to YouTube. Very few people come to YouTube for things that are really that complicated, I think, especially in this space. So I was watching Kills. He was struggling. He was struggling because Kiltz and I share a very fundamental idea, and that is, don't overcomplicate it. Don't micromanage it. You've heard me say that many times, and he goes at least, if not further than I do. He keeps trying to make it simpler and simpler, and I agree with that. I agree with that. And when it starts to get way too complicated, my brain starts to hurt. There's nothing in that I can take action on or change anything about what I do or how I do it. And nobody can micromanage all the fine points of exactly what their fat to protein ratio and their fat to muscle ratio in their body is and what's your goal. And if you have different goals, you have to eat different diets, and you're focused on bodybuilding, you're focused on distance running, you're focused on all this, and Gilts goes, we're all focused on the same thing, reproduction, basically, which is the answer to the motivation for most, if not all, of human action. Attract a mate and reproduce. That's the meaning of life, and it's that simple. And I think we're better off when we reduce everything down to basic instinctive motivations. So I think the last time Kills got a little flustered, I forgot his name now, that young kid. It'll come to me. I don't remember. But Kelsey, if you're watching me here this morning, I was right there with you. Right there with you. At any rate, good morning. Let's see who's here. We have Wayne Herman, Lake Gaston. Hi, Wayne. How you doing? Brian Dish is here. Not a lot of people here, only 57 people this morning. Where is everybody? Have I scared everybody? 60 people. Have I scared everybody away, or is it? It's whenever I'm using StreamYard, my poor mouse decides, and I know what causes that, but I don't know how to stop it from happening. I need to, bear with me. No wonder you people don't watch me. Mouse. There it is. Okay. No. Search. I got to do it this way. Settings. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. There it is. Okay. Now I got it. Okay. I had to swap the pointers because I'm using a right-handed mouse in my left hand. All right, here we are. Brian Dish, good morning. Happy Hump Day. Lady June, how are you? Good to see you. It still didn't switch. Why didn't it switch? Ugh. Let's try it again. Sometimes you just want to give up. Left to right. That's right. Right mouse button works. Okay. There we go. I got to fix this once and for all. I promise I will. Mike Silly. Hi, Mike. Good morning to you. And Lucy Work is here. And Thomas, Target Prime Rib, 659. We have Aaron is here. How you doing, Aaron? Good morning to you. Brian Dish is back. Good morning, all. Lambs was here. And Lambs is our winner at 7 a.m. We got the back to normal. Lambs and Robbie battling it out. Larry Ryan. Good morning, Larry. How you doing, my friend? Lori. Hey, Lori. Good to see you. Bill Crockett is here. Hiya, Bill. Hiya, Bill. Bill Cook. I ought to at least look at it. Bill Cook, how you doing? I even called... I mess up with the names sometimes. I called Barry Simon. Barry Smith. It just came out. I saw the S, and that's because I think my mind is going 10 times faster than my mouth at most times, and the mouth is on autopilot. Who we got here? We got Marla Kelly. Good morning, she says. Good morning, all. And Steve Rogers, Captain America from Kansas City's with us. How you doing, Steve? Good morning to you. Sandy Blythe. All the usual suspects are checking in. Bill Cook says, hashtag Mitch Fits. Yes. Yes. Sean is here. Hi, Sean, 1977. I imagine that might be your birthday. Your birthday. That makes you a young man. My birthday is 1947. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. But I digress. Tanya. Morning with Mitch. Thank you, sweetie. Good to see you this morning. We had a great live stream last night. We had Juliet there. Ellen chimed in. We had Lewis. We had Rick. We had Gary Noslow. Was really, really fun. We talked about the Kilts meetup, and many of you, if not all of you who are here, were there. We had a very nice time. It was great. It's great to see Ellen. Everybody had been asking about her lately, and I hadn't seen her, but she chimed in, and we convinced her to come into the panel, and had a very nice time. Very relaxing and a good conversation. Really, really enjoyed that. Thomas is here this morning. Good morning to you. Yeah, Kilts ends before 8 every morning. And I don't know who told me, maybe it was you or Lewis or somebody, said that the reason he wants to keep it under an hour is that YouTube will translate it into more languages that way. I never looked into that. I don't know if that's true, but I have no reason to disbelieve it. So they really, really, really try to hit that end stream button before 7 o'clock. I don't try that hard. I have no reason to quit other than if I don't quit, I go all day. And if you get tired of me, I get tired of hearing myself talk. And it works out pretty good. Peter is here, affectionately known as Pretzel Pete. And we watched Amy's music video of Pretzel Pete last night, or watched some of it. and I posted the link to it. It was a riot. It was a riot. That was Rick. Rick mentioned the translation. Okay, Rick, didn't mean to take the credit away from you. And Rick was there with us and we all talked about the weekend, and it was, and I'll tell you what, as soon as Alia releases the dates for next year's Kelsey meetup, do whatever you can. Make that a highlight of your year. It was. Ask anybody that was there. It wasn't the biggest event. It was big enough, though. And it was. You talk about community. Doesn't get any more community than what we had this weekend. And if you're tuned into your feelings and you get around all those people, you feel appreciated, you feel wanted, you feel safe, you feel secure, you feel like there are no bad or evil thoughts anywhere. You just feel the love. I guess that's how you describe it. Good morning, Gary. How you doing? Good to see you. Brenda McIntyre's here. Good morning to you. Donna Ray, Bacon Runner, how you doing? Put some QQQs in the chat. Give me something to talk about, or I'll just ramble. Rick is here. Good morning, Rick. How you doing, my friend? Danny in Boston is here. Good to see you. And now everybody's starting to say hi to each other. Who haven't I hit? Don Shanger. How you doing, Don? Good to see you. Lori likes the sciencey stuff. Well, I like it too. We have to know the science, and we should know the why. But if you sit through an hour video and you're looking for how to fix something or how much fat you should eat, and they never get to the actionable stuff, it leaves you wanting. And I think that and it shows in the numbers too. The videos, like recipe videos, well, they, by definition, are actionable. It's a step-by-step instructions how to do something. And they attract a lot more interest because that's what most people are really looking for. Guys like me, a lot of us, in Anthony Chafee, especially Ken Berry, they delve into the whys of everything. But that information, unless you're a curious person, I mean, I watch documentaries with nothing actionable. What could be actionable about watching documentaries about new space telescopes and our expanded understanding of the universe? What in a video like that could I put to use today to make my life better? Nothing. But it's so fascinating. So if you're a really curious person and you know, when you were a kid like me, you took everything apart to find out how it worked without a worry or care of whether you could put it back together, you like those videos. But most of us have our own lives and things we're interested in, and we're not concerned about that, or quantum physics, or paleontology, but we want something actionable. I made that video yesterday because I wanted to make it. I wanted it out there. It performed horribly. Nobody cared. There was no clickbait. The title said exactly what it was. Carnivore isn't right for everybody. That was not meant to be clickbait. And I tried to explain something very complicated. And I went into the forbidden topic in this world of evolution. perish the thought. And I got the comments. And one comment was particularly annoying. And I immediately get rid of anybody that comes back with a comment like this. It said, "You should have used the word evolution in the first minute of your video. You owe me 13 minutes of my life." I of course, didn't respond to that, but I get a lot of that kind of stuff. And yet, I can't explain the why without the reality. Unfortunately, brainwashing is everywhere. You can be religious, you can believe in God, you can believe in all that. The church does, and still understand the science of evolution. It happened. Get over it. The Pope did in 1976. If the Pope can say that religion and evolution don't clash, you can too. And if you are that far out on the spectrum, keep your opinions to yourself. I've been hearing those opinions all my life, and I'm a little sensitive to them. And the comments, as much as I try, I wish I could have Kiltz's demeanor and just smile. I love you. I love you too. I don't like it when people go out of their way to be mean. You could say, we disagree. You know, I believe in evolution. And I say, fine, probably give you a heart. But you come at me, and you're gone. I don't need you. Now, I'm talking to 86 people here who probably would never do that to me. That's why I come here. This is my safe place where I can rant and rave about all the things that you get bombarded with being a YouTuber. Here we have Sybil Vimes. Good morning, Sybil. How you doing? And everybody's talking. Who is this? Gideon Rubina. Somebody new. I don't recognize you. How you doing? Good morning to you. Gideon, welcome. Welcome. Glad you're here. We have Mike Sealy in Melbourne. Keep it simple. Yes, yes. Why would you want to overcomplicate something that the simpler you keep it, the more likely you are to succeed? This morning, Kiltz and Max got into, Kiltz and Max got into, I don't want to call it a disagreement, differing opinions of the different macros. There are only 3 macros. And this is something that, when I listen to a lot of these people who overcomplicate everything and micromanage everything, which Max does. And Max is probably pretty successful, but he's a kid. He's 41 years old. That's a child. And when I listened to the story of his history, it was kind of like Kiltz's. Made a lot of mistakes when he was young. You know, got fit, got buff, worked out, went astray, stopped working out, went into the corporate world, got fat, drank beer. You know, he's been up and down, and now he's 40, he's back on the right path. But come back in 20 years of being on the right path, and you'll have it figured out, I think. I don't think so many of these people are qualified to really give advice if they don't really understand how simple the basic science is. There's 3 macros. 3 macros. You have fat, protein, and carbohydrates, or sugar. Kiltz and Max got into a discussion about, is lean meat protein? What's protein, he says. Well, that's the first misunderstanding. Proteins are made from a chain of amino acids. Those amino acids are broken down when you eat them by your digestive system and then used based on genetic information to rebuild the proteins that your body needs. We have the code and the genetics to build 25,000 different proteins, but none of them, if you had a whole bowl of just that protein, would look anything like a steak. A steak is like trying to find building materials, so you go out there and you wreck a building down to the bricks, and then you salvage the bricks and build something new out of them. And the thing you've built had no resemblance whatsoever to the building that you destroyed to get the bricks. Proteins are just a macronutrient, but the proteins have to come from amino acids. That's what they are. A peptide chain of amino acids that then fold up and they make little machines, and proteins do all the heavy lifting in our body. Fat is fat, and carbohydrates are carbohydrates. And like Kiltz always says, every cell in our body contains fat, sugars, and proteins. You can't have life without those three. But thinking that you need to eat something for a specific cause overcomplicates it, because your body tears everything you eat down anyway into its basic building materials. So the closest you can get, and you pick the diet, is the ratio of your different macros. And don't worry about what your body's going to do with it on a cellular or molecular level, because that's what we're programmed to do. And the more we start worrying about it and try to fine-tune our diet for this goal or that goal, I want to lose weight, I want to put on more muscle, I want to do this, I want to do that, you're starting down a road to failure. You may be trashing your health too. So when you eat a piece of meat, if it's lean meat, it's still got fat in it, it's still got some carbs in it. The ratios are different. If you eat really fatty meat, yeah, you're going to get more fat. We seem to know from experimenting that a higher fat, moderate protein, little to no carbohydrate diet seems to work well for most of us, and it has for me. That's all you really need to know. And it's so simple for me to do that even a caveman could do it. I eat pretty much the same thing every day. It's given me food freedom. That, number one, is more important almost than anything, because if you can't control your addictions, it doesn't matter how smart you are. I'm a living example of that. Throw some blueberries, make ice cream, put it in front of me. My conscious mind gets taken over, and I lose any willpower or ability to stop. And I'm smart enough to recognize it as it's happening, but I can justify it to myself when that happens. Well, that's what an addiction does. It gives you all of those reasons that just make so much sense at the time. Just this last time you say to yourself, I promise I'll start again tomorrow. That's the crux of it. That's the proof. That self-rationalization is the proof that you're addicted. And addiction is normal. Everybody's addicted to something because we all have needs. needs to stay alive and reproduce. That's nature. We can't fight that. We're not strong enough, most of us. And if people say, I don't have a problem not eating, I can walk away, I can eat one cookie, they're no better than you. They're just not addicted to that particular thing. But they're probably addicted to something else. It's interesting. When an alcoholic goes to 12-step meetings because he's such a raging addict, he can't stop and he's ruining his or her life, what are they doing at an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting? They're all sitting around smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee, but they're not drinking alcohol and talking about how they need to fight their addiction. And when the 12-step program is over, they walk out of there being newly minted caffeine and nicotine addicts. But they've got the alcoholism under control, and the caffeine and the nicotine scratch the itch. So have they cured anything? They just swapped them. Come in here, swap your addiction for another addiction. That's why people who stop smoking get fat. They're swapping their nicotine addiction for a carbohydrate addiction. And they're so proud of themselves. I haven't smoked in 10 years. Yeah, but you're a 450-pound diabetic. Maybe you were healthier when you did smoke. Reality. Well, that's out there. Keep it simple. I should come up with a video, a short every day. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. That's the message. Keep it basic. The way that I, and this might be something that's actionable advice. The way that I make sure I get enough fat every day, because that seems to be the problem, because nobody's really out there selling fat. They're cutting the fat off of everything and throwing it away. Because of the culture, they're making things low fat. Getting adequate fat is a challenge. Now, I think an egg is a great way to get a lot of fat. An egg has got the perfect amount of fat. 50% by weight, probably 70% by calories. So I make sure I eat 5 or 6 eggs every day. I know that in those eggs, I'm very easily hitting my fat quotient. I don't need to add a half a pound of butter to my coffee. I don't need to do all that stuff. I'm getting the best fat, the healthiest fat that my body could use. And it's not dairy. I don't do well with dairy. Usually I have some protein. And I use the term protein, meaning animal meat, muscle meat. I don't use the word, because that's just a small part of what protein is made of, proteins. We use it as the name of a macro to pretty much mean, and you can have lean proteins. We use protein to mean meat. But I eat bacon. And I make a half a pound of thick bacon in a frying pan first. And most of the time, I don't save the bacon grease. I take my eggs and put them right into the bacon grease. And lately, I've been scrambling them up, and an amazing thing happens. I got this greasy bacon. I got the eggs, and when I scramble them up, they absorb all the bacon grease. And when I'm all done, the pan doesn't have much grease left, or if any, left in it. So that means that the entirety of the fat content of those bacon and eggs is going to go into me. And if I get too much fat, I would probably have diarrhea, but I don't. So I know I'm not eating too much fat. I'm not gaining. I'm losing weight now that I'm back on strict carnivore. So that's how I do it. And then if I need a little more food, that's when I might eat a couple of hamburger patties, a couple of salmon fillets, a ribeye. But that's pretty much the extent. I got a big order from Sam's Club yesterday. And in that order was 4 pasture-raised eggs, 18 counts, 4 pounds of bacon, and one of those 6-pound packages of the Angus frozen burger patties. And if I didn't put a bite of anything else in my mouth, other than those 3 items for a week, I wouldn't notice the difference. I wouldn't feel bad. I wouldn't feel like I was denying myself. I would know that I was eating at the right proportion. I wasn't eating too much protein or too much fat, and there's 0 carbs other than the trace carbs that are in everything. Everything. But not enough to trigger sugar addictions. And that, to me, is the most important thing that I need to look out for and make sure that nothing that I do. But I have no desire, and that's the amazing thing about this. I have no desire to eat sugar or anything sweet anymore. And looking back at my history, that's the greatest miracle that ever happened on this carnivore thing. So let me start looking for some. Let me start looking for some QQQs if there are any. I don't get too many of them here. Bride's Biscuit is here. How you doing? Good morning to you and Diesel Doc. Hi, Diesel Doc. How you doing? Good to see you this morning. And Rick's talking, and Lori. Rick and Lori, you guys can talk to each other. I am behind in the chat. Let's see who's chatting over here in this chat. Let me get rid of that comment on there. Mitch is becoming a long-term carnivore. Not wanting sweets is a sign of that, says Rick. Yes, that's true. That's true. It's been going on for a while though, but it's really settled in, Rick. And of course you have no interest in any of that stuff, and I can understand why after a lifetime of eating this way. Patricia Butler says, Mitch, I'm not an addict as long as I'm not around carbs. I like that. That's great. That's great. I wonder what other people are talking about, the camel hump being all fat. Amy is here. Yeah, Amy, I played the first few minutes of your Pretzel Pete video. Wow, that was really impressive. Very, very, very impressive. Very, to say the least. To say the least. Here's a question. Okay, give me a second to scroll all the way down to the bottom. Here it is. Question: can you tell me more about a high LDL to HDL ratio? I recently did lab work to refill thyroid medication, and doctors said I need meds now. Okay. Most doctors, I'm trying to answer this without taking too much time. I think what you mean, rather than LDL to HDL ratio, which is not the best indicator. What you want to look for is your HDL to triglyceride ratio. Don't worry about that LDL number. In my opinion, and in my practice, and in what I worry about, the least important number in that entire lipid panel is LDL. There is no science that I have found, and I get this as well from Anthony Chaffee, Ken Berry, David Diamond, all these guys. There is no scientific basis that would have us being concerned about LDL, low density lipoproteins. I think before you start worrying about any numbers, Sean, you need to really take some time. You should really take some time, in my opinion, to study the science of lipoproteins. There's a lot of it out there. And most important, what do the different types of lipoproteins do in a human body? Basically, LDL kind of delivers and HDL kind of mops up and cleans up afterwards. But you can't use that. You can't use that information. So the LDL is the least important thing to worry about. Now, triglycerides are an important number, but even they can be very misleading. And the ratio that you hear about is the triglycerides to HDL. Most people who are unhealthy have very low HDL and very high triglycerides. That's not good. The healthiest people have very high HDL, and I'm talking about metabolically healthy, because we tend to confuse healthy with good looking. And in so many cases, that is not the case. We tend to judge healthy by the amount of weight people are carrying. And I got to tell you, some of the healthiest people I know are pretty heavy. The triglyceride to HDL ratio should be less than 2 to 1. That means if you have an HDL of 50, your triglycerides should not be over 100. If you have a HDL ratio of 1 to 1, that's healthier. If your triglycerides are lower than your HDL, you're more than likely a low body mass, a low BMI individual. You will have screaming high LDL, like I do. And you'll consider yourself a lean mass hyperresponder, and check out Dave Feldman and all the studies that he and Nick Norwitz have been doing. Because it turns out that when you have that phenotype, your chances of heart disease and other things are negligible, and you won't get a lot of plaque in your arteries. Lean mass LMHR, lean mass hyperresponder. To become considered a lean mass hyperresponder, you gotta have low BMI. That's the big key. You gotta be thin. My BMI is under 20. I'm 5'10". I weigh 140 pounds now, which is certainly not fat. Although I do have fat on my body, because you got to have some fat. My triglycerides are just under 100, and my HDL is about 80. That makes me very, very, very healthy. I understand why the numbers are like that, and I understand why my LDL cholesterol varies between 350 and 450, which, according to the medical community, it is impossible. And I've had that all my life. Impossible for them to conceive of the fact that I can actually be still alive at my age. Don't believe your lying eyes, Mitch. It's impossible from the proven science that about cholesterol and how dangerous it is. It's impossible that you can still be alive, and that high cholesterol caused you stroke, which it didn't. Which it didn't. And I explained to them, I believe that my stroke was caused by leftover scar tissue from my brain surgery, because that's what a stroke happened. But they don't want to believe that. No. They might have to take some responsibility for that. So, Keto Mountain says, Mitch, I am a lean mass hyper-responder too. Yes, I wear my LDL number like a badge of honor. Like a badge of honor. I may be wrong. There's always that caveat, always that disclaimer. But from what I see and what I experience, even with the stroke, on carnivore, I've recovered tremendously so far. Not completely, but tremendously. So that question about the ratios, be careful you don't fall into the trap of putting too much emphasis on all the numbers, because the people who interpret those tests for you, the medical community and the doctors, already have your future completely mapped out for you based on your numbers. And that future includes tons of drugs, lots of doctor's visits, lots of future lab tests, and each one of those things just makes your life more painful, sicker, and dependent on them and their misinformation about how it really works. Because they're not doing, trust me, unless you have an NMR. NMR is a test that really separates the different lipoproteins into many more categories, so you can determine the count of the particles, the size of the particles, if the particles are small and damaged, which are the ones that do some harm. And that's not cholesterol, that's lipoproteins. When somebody in the medical community can actually get it straight, I'll start maybe paying attention to them, but they have it all wrong. If your doctor has not ordered certain tests for you, he cannot figure out what's wrong with you. If he's not tracking your insulin, your C-peptides, your cysteine C to tell about your kidney health, if he's relying on the standard surface blood tests, HDL and LDL, and thinks that he can predict anything or diagnose anything from that, the guy is an ignorant fool. Ask him next time, Doc, don't you think I need an NMR cholesterol test? If you'll find out, he probably say, what does that mean? And at that point you say to him, what do you mean, what does that mean, Doc? NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy. Spectroscopy. You say that 3 times fast after a stroke. And tell him, you know what that is, Doc? You know what it does? My LDL is 350. Don't you want to know? Don't you want to know if all of that is big, fluffy, healthy LDL carrying triglycerides to every cell in my body as fuel and not sugar? Don't you want to know that I'm a lean mass hyperresponder and my body runs on fat the way a human body's supposed to, not on sugar like your fat ass does? I've had these conversations with doctors. Generally, the last conversation I ever have with that doctor, but that's the way you have to be. They do not understand the numbers of a healthy person anymore. They gauge their entire opinion of you as to your health and potential longevity as if you have a low LDL, which is what is the biggest killer in modern society. The reason why so many people dying young have the lowest LDL. And those of us with LDLs of 350 and 450, according to many meta-analysis of hundreds of thousands of people, especially older people, have discovered that it's the people with the highest LDL that have the lowest all-cause mortality. These studies are published. I've shown them to my doctors. I give them this stuff. They don't even bother to read it. That's why I don't have doctors anymore. I don't need doctors. Why would you need a doctor when you know more than your doctor does about this stuff? Now, I keep saying they may know more about anatomy, but I don't need an intricate knowledge of anatomy. I need an intricate knowledge of physiology and chemistry, cellular biology, understanding metabolism and how it works. That's all I'm concerned about. I don't care how big my deltoid muscle get and which bone it's attached to and where and which tendons are involved. When I have to know about that, I'll bring him in. I'll bring an orthopedic guy into the picture. We need to take control, but taking control these days makes you the enemy. Makes you the enemy of the medical establishment. You're a nuisance. You're a thorn in their side. You will not get the respect you deserve. And all that happens while they keep telling you, you need to advocate for yourself. Well, I'm here to tell you from personal experience, you advocate for yourself, you'll see the words uncooperative patient on your chart, and from that point on, nobody gives a shit about you. They just want to get rid of you. And they certainly don't want to make them happy. And if you hear passion in the way I talk about this, you can believe that passion is born of experience. Born of experience. I think I've said this stuff before. DS111's here. How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Question, how big is your deltoid muscle, Mitch? Asking for a friend, says Lori. Well, I tried to tell him this question. Not as big. My muscles are not as big as they were when I was at the peak of taking pictures with my shirt off. I haven't been able to really work out that hard. I still haven't gone to lift weights. I just have to make sure that I do enough. I do the resistance bands. I've got plenty of strength. My legs are plenty strong. I can, every day I try to do, I call it an old people exercise, but it's the most important exercise that you can ever do when you're aging, and that is sit on a chair and stand up, no hands, and sit down, and stand up and sit down. And I do about 20 to 30 of them every day, because that exercises those muscles that are more important to you than just going for a walk. A lot of these older people, they walk plenty, but they can't get out of a chair. They just can't stand up. They need one of those, it helps me when I get up chairs. And God forbid I ever need something like that. I also used to say, God forbid I ever need a walker. But we, no matter how hard we try, life's going to do to us what it does. The only thing you got is stand up, dust yourself off, and do the best you can. Do the best you can. Brenda McIntyre says, question, I'm drinking decaf. See if I notice a difference. Is it a waste of time, do you think? You know, interestingly enough, this is decaf. I don't know if it's chemical or just placebo effect, psychological. I find I can't, if you gave me a cup of coffee and I drank half of it, I couldn't tell you whether it was decaf or caffeinated. I drink now like 1 cup of caffeinated coffee a day because I've read a lot of stuff, pro and con, but there is a benefit to a little caffeine. and in mental clarity and other things. And I don't think one cup of coffee or caffeine a day is going to hurt me. So, but the actual, if I have decaf, I enjoy it just as much. So is it a placebo effect? It's like, does a vape pen really satisfy you like a cigarette used to? A lot of cigar smokers they don't even light them. They just chew them all day long. Maybe it's like a pacifier to them. I don't know. Gilream says, good morning, Mitch. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. And got a nice crowd, up to 114 people today. Wow, wow, wow. And I'm on a roll, I guess. And it's 7:55 already. Holy cow. Holy cow. And Brenda, let me know. Let Let us know the results, please. Come back and tell us. Carnivore Mountain says, Mitch, yes. Let me go back to that. Bring it up here. Yes, and at the ER, you are treated differently when you have difficult patient on the record. This happened to my husband. After all the heart attacks he had, you would be difficult too. Well, first, I know that I'm not unique. The video, I keep talking about this one video because I'm still trying to figure out how to do it again. How do I do another video that, let me show you this. Holy cow. How do I try to come up with another video that runs like this one is? This is the video that says, count me out. I quit. No more annual physicals for me. Right now, let me look at the statistics. Back that up and go into analyze. This video right now has 194,000.6 views. It's about 28 days old, and you can see by this chart that it's continuing every day to add 5,000-6,000 videos. Views, 2,000 or 3,000 views, 5,000-6,000 every 2 days. I've never made as much money on a video on YouTube. I made $733 in advertising revenue on this one video. That's more than I made on all the other videos and live streams that I did in a month. I'd like to do this every day. I could make some real money at this. But I still don't understand what it was I did on this one. But this video, I talked about all the things that seem to trigger people. And the comments, got thousands of them so far, and almost 100% of those comments were horror stories from people saying, I agree because when I was in the hospital and I hear all the horror stories. And I'm telling you, I've never gotten a response on a video like that before. Incredible. Incredible. I'm reading chats. So that is a puzzle to me. The last video I had that did those kind of numbers was 2.5 years ago. And it was a how-to video. How to make a chuck roast in a slow cooker. You all remember that. I joke about that. I put out videos I think that have tremendous insight, require a lot of work and a lot of thought, and a benefit of a tremendous amount of research and knowledge, and they go nowhere. I put out a video of me standing in the kitchen, taking a hunk of chug steak, throwing it in a slow cooker, putting the lid on it, turning it on to low, and saying, and then come back in 8 hours, and then I come back in 8 hours, and I say, you shred it up, don't shred it all up, you put it away in a refrigerator, and then I showed how I ate that. I cut a quarter of it out, put it in a frying pan, heated it up, and it was delicious. Well, that video has gotten over 200,000 views, but it hasn't gotten many views lately. I'm still trying to figure, and I figured out the only way for me to get those kind of views is to have a thumbnail and a title so outrageous as to inflame people about the medical community. And then everything has to hit just right for their algorithm to say, we're going to promote this video. Because if YouTube doesn't promote a video, it goes nowhere. It goes to the choir, goes to your loyal bunch of followers, and 1,000 of them, 1,500 of you will watch almost anything I put out, and I can count on that. But for something to be pushed to people who don't know me, that will increase your subscribers, because these people never found you. Whereas if you only have your videos pushed to your already subscribers, you're not going to gain any. That one video, and this is aimed at all the friends that I have here that are new YouTubers that want to grow their channel. I can only tell you that this one video got me 4,000 new subscribers. 4,000. I'm not kidding. Subscribers, 4,000. There you are. See that? 4,000 subscribers and 16,000 hours of watch time. This one video, if you're trying to monetize your channel, would have done that 4 times over, because you need 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subs in order to become a YouTube partner. This one video did that 4 times over, and it only got less than 200,000 views, which is still insignificant compared to what some of these videos get that show up on my channel that are just worthless. 500,000 views, 1 million views, 2 million views, because the content creator is so huge and so big, and they get that kind of stuff. But life's not fair. I'm not complaining now. It kind of gave, this one video gave my poor old channel a little kick in the ass, which was nice. It was nice. Well, 8:03, no translations for me. Let's see, let's get ready to wrap it up. And this, thank you, Keyboard Mountain, thank you so much. These are very meaningful comments to me. Mitch, the one you made yesterday about looking at your ancestry tree as a clue to what type of carnivorous diet to have was brilliant too. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And what do we have here? We have, Lori says, do you have that option clicked off for sending videos to subscribers? What option? Of course. Oh, you mean, yeah, we send notifications to subscribers. Of course, we will, that's always turned on. Whether YouTube does it every time, that's another story. A lot of people say, I never got the notification. Well, I've done everything I could, so yeah, Lori, it's definitely turned on. Yeah, you can. Oh, now I know what you're talking about. I have checked the option that gives anybody permission to replay my video on their channel without copyright problems. Always. Always. Well, I'd be silly not to want the fame and publicity. But yeah, any avenue that my message, I mean, I don't care if the New York Times wanted to steal my message and publish it without any royalties, I would say, have at it. It's more important that that message gets out everywhere. I'm not concerned about, really not concerned about the money or the royalties or any of that crap. So yeah, please, Mitch, can I borrow that video? Absolutely. I would only ask, but give me a little plug and tell people to check out my channel. That's just common courtesy. But yeah, use it absolutely if you want to, or any piece of it, as long as you don't take things out of context in a reaction video and try to make me look like a fool. Because I can do a good enough job of that by myself. I don't need anybody's help. Michael Pringler, how you doing, Michael? I haven't seen you before. Danny in Boston is here. Anyway, here we go. Here we go. Let me play you out with a little happy music. Thank you so much for coming today. I'm energized. Now, I always get energized by these live streams and spending the morning with you. Tomorrow night we have the private community. I hate to use that word, private community. Members live stream at Thursday night, which is always fun. If you're a channel member, join us. If not, I guess I will see all of you Friday morning, 7 o'clock after Kiltsy. Morning Coffee with Mitch. Mike Seeley says, have a great day. Rick says, in 3 days is my time. And everybody, check out Rick sometime on Saturday morning. He's always there about any time you tune in. Lamb says, always a joy, Mitch. Absolutely, thank you. Thanks, Mitch. See you again tomorrow. Look forward to it, Rick. Lori, no, it's a different option. You scroll down. Is this video shared? Yeah, you're right, Lori. I have that click. You could absolutely share this video anywhere you want. CB Carmack waving at us and Mandy Beddoes. See you tomorrow or whenever. Carnivore Mountain, good to have you here today. Appreciate the questions. I think that's about it. So, yeah, I think I got them all. So the music's going to end, and so is this morning's show. So, take the rest of the day off. Wait a minute. Don't take the rest of the day off yet. Don't take the rest of the day off yet. Let me clear this off the screen. Now, because I don't want this to be on the screen as show ends. Try that again. Take the rest of the day off and eat meat.